what are we doing wrong? I thought it was a really interesting question because it's not as if we haven't been paying attention to this. Companies are spending over $720 million each year on employee engagement. And in fact, we're projecting that that's going to rise to $1.5 billion. Yet employee engagement is still not growing at the rate we want it to be growing. We saw a tiny bit of improvement there, especially in those, the partially engaged and engaged, but not enough to really get us to where we want to be, especially for the amount of money we're spending on this. And it was interesting what the conclusions that they came to. And I think it's interesting is most employee engagement models are centered around the work experience and not on the employees themselves, really understanding what employees want. And really only talking about work-related or experience-related, but not the employee themselves. So I think this notion of understanding the actual individuals out there and how do managers engage specifically with people is data that we need to be focusing on. And I thought this was really an interesting way to begin to explore this particular issue. And, I think I see a comment here about it focusing on development for older employees. I didn't mean to say earlier that with millennials, the focus should not only be focused on them. I think the development has to cross all generations. What I do know, though, is that there is a big sensitivity in the millennial age group to this notion of development, perhaps even more so, and they may be quicker to jump ship than others, but development is important across all generations, and thanks for bringing up that comment. That was certainly important to clarify. So as we look at this idea of how do we focus on the employee,